Okay. So yeah, we'll take a new class so that you will get confused, or else 1 second, I will take another class. Inside the package in the sense it's a folder. So I'm going to create another class. Mm, Call by, sorry, there is another word, right? Call by value. So I think you are familiar with this in C language. Finish. Okay, let me close all these things, the previous classes. This is the class name. Okay, this is the descriptive comments. Now I'm going to write a main method over here. Static void main string gs aux arguments. Start a brace over here. Okay. So we created a class named call by value. What is a call by value? So at the time of passing a values by using the objects. So if I'm going to create, 1 second. So yeah, there is only a call by value in the sense of in Java itself, there is only a call by value. There is no reference at all, but it will be, we can achieve that reference. We can achieve that reference by using the object. With the example, you can easily understand. So while we are passing a values, we'll call it as a call by value. So when we are passing a values to the method, so at the time of creation of an object, we suppose to call, I will show this one. Wait. This is the method, right? Okay, let me create another one. Check. So this is the check. So here inside this, I'm going to take, so let me delete the final keyboard. We can't access that. Inside this, int a, comma, int b. So there are two arguments inside this. And from a call by value or class, I'm going to create an object for check. Check. C is equals to new checkoff. Okay. So I created an object for this. Let me take value a plus a, and for b itself, I'm going to declare a b over here. So what is a call by value? Now I'm going to access that method display from this object reference. So display 2 comma, sorry, and this will be a 6. So I'm calling the values by using the value. I'm calling a method by using these values. This is called call by value. Now you understood that. So here inside another class, if it is the same class also, so we can write in this way also. You can write directly here. We can declare this class. I think I already said that. Already said that one. T. So okay, we'll call it as a star. So in this way also, I can create an object from here like this. See this, you will get an history or s is equals to new star of. So I created, and this is a non-static method. I need to declare that one. Okay, that was not a big deal. So because this is a non-static method, I have to declare the same thing inside another way. So if we are going to create a class inside the same class, we'll call it as a nested classes. So from this, we can directly access from here also. Okay, I will tell you about that later. First of all, we need to discuss the call by value. So now I just created an object for the check class itself. So from here, I'm passing from call by value class, I'm going to pass 2 and 6 to this class having a display method. So the display method consisting of two arguments, A and B, by using the value reference of display. This is called a call by value. Now you understood that one. So I will take another example. So the main use of a call by value, So why we are using a call by value? Let me tell you. So if I want to change a number, from, I mean, suppose if I want to pass 100 to this, to this method, 100 or 200 to this method. I want to increment that number. At that time, if we send the value from the main method itself, if it doesn't change, then we will call it as a call by value. At the time of a reference, we can change the value. So let me take another method. Let me format it. So, oh, sorry. Okay, it will be formatted, and I'm going to declare int a is equals to 50. I will take as a 50. Okay, sorry, I will take as a data. So the data is having, I mean, inside this method, we are having a variable and I assigned a data plus 100. What if I'm going to send a value to this method? So for this, I need to create an operation. Sorry, I need to create an object call call by value. So call by value, some CAV is equals to new call by value. Okay, now I created an object for the same class. This is the class name. Inside a main method, I created an object for the same class. Okay, now I'm going to call CAV dot data. Sorry, let me call this one. Okay, dot change is equals to, okay, I will take it as 100. Okay, now I'm sending 100 to this change method. So this is a change method inside the same class. From main method, I created an object for the same class. This is the same class, and I'm passing 100 value. What do you think? What the value will be? So now I'm going to call before and after. Let me do this one. System dot out dot println. You'll get a clear idea. Just observe the values what I'm sending. Sorry, this is not an append. Dot println. So this is before change a value before changing a value of a data. Let me take it as a plus. What is the object name? CAV dot data, data. Okay. Now I consider I'm going to print directly the data available inside the class call by reference. So from here itself, main method itself, this is a before change. Now I call the method change and I'm passing 100 towards a change method. So will it change or not? We need to check it out. Okay, let me copy this one. Copy end of it and paste. This is after change. Okay. So what do you think? Will it change or not? Just run the program. So I'm passing 100 towards this. See this. Why this happened? So it is not changing. So already there is a data is equal to data plus 100. Why it is not changing? Because only we are passing a value only. So it can't be changed. Just passing a value and it is not changing at all. So what we need to do if we are going to change that value, we need to pass an object for that. So let me pass an object. You will understand this one. Wait a second. Let me pass an object over here. Where is CAV? Okay. Why it is showing error? Method change in a class call by value cannot be applied to the given types. Okay. So why it is showing an error? CAV? Because this is not an object. I'm sending the class object towards the change method, but the argument is a primitive data type. So I need to change this to the name of a class. I need to change this to the name of a class. All by value. So I think you understood the error, right? The primitive data type is having, let me change that one. I will change that one. Wait a second. CAV dot data. These are all the errors we need to rectify, or else it won't. I mean, why it is showing error? Let me check this one. Okay, I'm going to create CAV. Okay, now the error has been gone. So because this is an object, by using this object, I'm passing the same object of a same class. Before that, the value doesn't change, because see this, before change and after change the value, what I send already 100 has been sent towards the method itself, but the value doesn't change. What we need to do for that, we need to pass an object to change the values. So it is essential. Sometimes you will understand that. I mean, so many projects are completely based on this. At a time of passing a parameters, it is essential to send an object sometimes, not instead of a primitive data types. So it is a very important topic. Please remember this. Don't remember like a call by value or whatever it is, but you have to remember passing, how to pass an object. How to pass an object after the creation of an object. You can directly call a method by sending an object as a parameter. See, now I'm going to run this file. See this, 150 has been printed. Why? Because if you want to call by a value and if you want to modify that particular data what you provided, you have to pass an object. You have to pass an object, then only the value will be changed. So please remember this and listen it carefully. Do not take a primitive data type over here. So the values already, see this, it cannot be differenced. Int cannot be differenced. It is not possible because it is an object passing, and here also the error will occur. What you are sending over here, it should be the same inside the argument also. I think now you got a good idea about this. This is called a call by value. This is a very good practical knowledge about this. There are so many examples over there. If you want to try it at home. Okay. So the main aim of a call by value is, let me tell you 1 second, just sending or passing values towards a method, which we call it as a call by value. Sometimes the changes will be done in a method will not affect the method itself. If you want to change that value, it is essential to send an object. Okay, now we are going to discuss about call by reference. Okay. So now see this. If you want to change, this is a call by value, right? If you want to change the value by using this reference, an object is created with the name of CAV, and I'm sending this reference towards this method, which we call it as call by reference. This is a call by reference. What we previously did, while we are sending an object, I mean a parameter towards a method, the value doesn't change. It is a call by value, and I'm sending this as a reference. You have to remember this one. Please be careful while you are doing all these things. If it is like an object while we are passing a data, it should be an object and it is a reference. And you are sending, don't you think like I mentioned a call by value over here? This will be a call by reference. I think you got confused, right? Okay, let me copy this and paste over here. Okay. Did I change anything? Class call by reference is a public. Why? What happened to this one? It's okay. So see this, I just changed it to the call by reference. If you are going to send only primitive values or non-primitive values, that doesn't matter, which we call it as a call by value. And this is called as a call by reference because I'm taking this reference of this class object and I'm sending this object towards this method. So this method consisting of a call by reference, and that reference I'm accessing the data. Now I'm directly accessing the data of the primitive data is equal to 50. In that case only then I can access, or else at the initial stage it is showing a warning over here. Already a data variable is assigned and it can't be changed. The warning will be in this way and it can't be changed in the sense of a call by value. In the sense of a call by reference, reference is a word you can easily understand. Reference in the sense CAV. This is a CAV for the particular class. I think you understood this one. Okay. Okay. I think you understand this, or else just chat me in a chat box if you have any doubt about a call by reference and call by value. Make sure that understand this, which is a very important topic, because every time we should work on a parameters only, and we should work on a method callings. We should work on a references. Every time all these are very important. We need to use each and every time. So each project consisting of based on these values only, like this. This is the way we work on. Any doubts? If not, I will go to the next topic. Please tell about a call by reference. Okay. Wait a second. I think you didn't understand. We'll take another example so that you will understand very easily. Mm. So yesterday itself, I just wrote another example. If you doesn't understand this, I need to tell that one. Let me show you that. I need to type it out. Let me check it out. Okay, 1 second. Okay, so as I think you did about this call by value and call by reference in a C language. So there you people used a swapping program. I think by taking a C is equal to A and then assign that A is equal to B over there. So let me take that one so that you will understand very easily. So reference in the sense we need to change it. Reference in the sense we need to change the data what we provided here. Let me show you here. The data is changing based on the reference. If it doesn't changes, then we'll call it as a value, call by value. So this method we are sending okay, 1 second. So here we are assigning an object name over here. What is the object? For the same class, I created an object and I'm accessing that, and I'm accessing this particular primitive data type variable, and the data will be changed. This is based on the reference of this class. I think you will understand this, right? So here I created an object, and based on the object, I just change the values. If the values doesn't changes, so it is called as a call by value. Just a value will be passed. So there is no need of using that one. So if you want to change that one, it is essential to pass an object over there like this. Okay, 1 second. I think you understand. Did you got my point, or else I need to take another example? Oh, wow. Okay, I will take a swapping example so that you will understand in somewhat a different manner. Wait. I will copy this. Yeah. I think you people are familiar with this program. I think in your C language, call by value. Okay, this is a call by value. So after and before swapping, see this program. There are two variables over here. Let me format this. Okay, sorry. Format. Okay. So inside a main method, I'm having two variables. So I'm going to print like A and B before swapping. I'm going to swap. A is equal to 45, B is equal to 30. This is the swap program. See this, you will understand very easily. Please make sure that these values are going to be changed. Okay, A is equal to 30, B is equal to 40. What will be the output till here? It displays here a 30, here a 45. So I'm going to call a swap function. So here the swap function is available. Why I mentioned static over here? Because I'm calling this method from the static main method. That's why I need to declare it as a static, or else it throws an error. Okay, let me delete this. See this. Okay, remember this one. Non-static methods can't be referenced. It should be in a static only. Okay, so I call a swap function and I'm sending 30 and 45 towards this. So now I declared another variable C and I assigned this value to C. So A will be empty now. So inside A, I'm sending the B value. So for C itself, C is equals to 30 now. Now itself, sorry, A is equal to 45. And now B is equals to 30. Now you understood what is the swapping mean. A is equal to 45, B is equal to. We need to print this one. So before swapping, what we got here itself, 30 and 45 will be printed. So here we are having, let me close this. So this values will be printed directly because we are sending A and B towards this swap function. So now I'm going to swap these two variables, I mean two values. So after swapping A and B, I think, will it give the swapping correct answer? No, it doesn't. This is called a call by value. This is called a call by value. The before example also, I just took a small program. So I think you will get confused. So see this, it won't change anything. See this, let me run this file. See this one. Is there any change over here before and after swapping? Sorry, this is inside swapping. Wait a second. This is after swapping. After swapping also, the values are showing like 30 and 45. It won't change at all. Don't you think, please don't consider this. I need to remove this one. Man, you will forget everything. Okay. Sorry, I need to remove this one. So don't consider this. It won't be changed over here. After sending this values towards over here, it is changing inside this function. If you are going to change inside this, it can't be accessed. So, okay, let me tell you about this one. So if you are going to change those values inside a main method, the values doesn't change. If you're going to change in another method, it will be changed. You have to remember this one. This example is having both. That's why it is showing these two things. Let me run this one. If you remember that, then you will get confused over here. See this, see this one. So inside this, the values doesn't change because the values are swapping outside the function. It will be changed over here. It will be swapping in this place only. If you're going to change those values, we need to use a call by reference. Then only the value will be changed. By using the object only, the swapping takes place inside the calling method itself. This is the calling method from the main method. If you want to change these values A and B, it is essential to use an object. These are very important. That's why I'm taking so much time to explain this. Okay. Okay. So if you want to change it inside this, you have to use call by reference inside this method. This is a calling function. If you want to change over here, that doesn't matter what are all the things, it will be changed. It will be changed. Why can't it change? Because we are assigning those values to some other temporary variable, and I'm swapping that one. That's why it is showing like after swapping, it will be like A is equal to 45 and B is equal to 30. I think you got a clear idea about this, I think now. If it is inside this method, it should be a reference only. If you want to change, if you want to swap these two variables, it is in the sense of an object reference. If you want to change it inside this, there is no need to discuss that one because it is a value. We are passing a value. Okay. Let me stop this. I think I completed this one. Now I'm going to run this one. See this. This is after swapping inside this method. So inside this method, it can't be changed. See this 30, 45. So inside this method, 45, 30. It has been swapped. If you want to change it inside this method, you need to use a reference. Okay. Okay. The topic has been completed. Now I'm going to go for, let me check the syllabus. These are very important. Please remember this one. Please practice it. Just make sure that you came to know about the values of swapping. So if anyone asks about a reference and a value, if you want to change it inside the main method, calling method itself, you need to use a reference. If you want to change it outside, there is no need of a reference and all. It is a call by value. This is the main difference in between a reference and a call by value. Okay, let me check the syllabus. I think its topic has been completed. So after that, passing arguments by value and by a reference has been completed. Keyword this. I think keyword this. I just explained that one. Okay, we'll take another example and we'll discuss about that. Let me. Hey, wait a second. Actually, there are. Yeah, 1 second. There is method overloading and overriding riding concepts over there. Method defining methods, overloading methods. It's are in our syllabus. Okay. Defining methods. It's in our syllabus. Comma. Overloading methods. Methods. And overloading. Sorry, overloaded constructors. I explained this also at the time of constructor. So these concepts also very important. Okay, defining a method in the sense now we did everything based on the defining a method. This is the defining a method. This is also defining a method. Okay, we'll discuss that one. Wait a second. So overloading concept is very important. For the past 3 days and all, I'm telling you about overloading. Let me take an example for that. So what is the overloading concept? So what is the use of overloading concept? Let me take. Okay, why can't we go for that? We'll change this one to overloading. Overload. And I'm going to delete all this. And I'm going to delete this one also. So what is the main use of a overloading concept? Okay. A client came to you and he asked to do an addition program. So what will you do? So yeah, this example is good. So a client came to you. He asked to build a calculator. So he is asking to build a calculator. Too late. Sorry. Okay. He's asked to build a calculator or whatever it is. So inside a calculator, he's asking to do a basic operation called addition. So what will you do? So what he said, an addition. So, okay. In the sense of an addition itself, I'm having, okay, I want to add two numbers. I want to add two numbers. But you people are familiar with, yeah, sir, I know how to add three numbers also, but I need a three numbers addition also. So I want to do only two numbers like 2 plus 3. So, but you came to know that you are supposed to add three numbers, 2 plus 3 plus 8. But you need to write the program in the sense of this. Based on the end user requirement, you have to write a program. What the end user will do, you don't know that. Sometimes he will give a 2 arguments or a 3 arguments or n number of arguments. So only the requirement in this sense we are considering 2 and 3. Okay, for this we need to write how many methods. Okay, what is the use of overload here? Here the overloading concept will occur. Like at the time of sending two variables, we need to pass a 2 arguments towards the method. Let me declare that one. So now we are going to discuss about, yeah, it's already defining a method, right? We'll discuss about the overloading constructors later. We'll take it as add 2, 3. Sorry, 3. So it is not available. Let me enter, create a method. So it is easy for us. Just alt and enter by placing it, and it will be created automatically. Okay. Okay. Now one more guy came. Okay, let me declare this inside another class so that it will be useful for you. Got it. So this is a check class, and here I'm going to define a method. Let me delete this. Let me delete this one also. Let me make it as a public so that it will be accessed outside the class. Okay. We'll take it as a B. And this is A. Let me delete this one. Okay. So what is the main use of a method overloading in? If two or more methods may have the same name, if they differ in parameters. So what I'm saying, if two or more methods may have the same name, maybe they are having the same name and having different types of parameters. These methods are called overloaded methods. I think you understood that one. Let me show you an example for that. It will be like this. See this. I'm not declaring this, just I'm telling you how it will look like. So what I'm saying, if you want to, if you having two methods in your class, you are having two or more methods, maybe with the same name. Sometimes it will be same name or some other name itself. So this is a function, I mean the method with this name and the same function having one parameter over here, and there is another method with the same name of the previous methods having some other different primitive data type, and this is the method having two arguments. So such methods can be accessed by using these parameters. At the time of an object creation, we will call this method directly. There, each and every method will be overloaded based on their requirement. So while I'm sending two arguments, it goes over here. If I want to send a single variable, it goes over here or here. So these are overloading. So based on the name, because the names are same, based on this, the values will be changed based on our requirement. Okay, now let me delete this. I will explain this one. Wait a second. So see this. One second, one second. It will throw an error. Where is the format? Okay. There is another. Okay. It is closed and this is also closed. Where is the main method? Yeah, here is the main method. Wait a second. Let me see this illegal start exception. Inside a method, we can't write another method. Okay, that was error. Now you got the point, right? This is also a method. Inside a method, you can't declare another method. We can call the method, but you can't declare inside one method. Let me close this. Don't get confused. Inside a method, you can't write another method. Got my point? Now here we are going to display. Okay, see, has been closed. See now, I'm going to send a single argument, but this display is written two types, having a single argument and two arguments over here. So now I'm going to call by using this one. In the sense of an addition, let me run this one so that you will understand this. I think all we discussed previously with so many examples and all. This type of programs has been discussed previously so many times, whatever it is. So this display method having one argument. So at this time, it goes over here. At this time, it goes over here. This is called method overloading. I think you got my point, right? So at this time, it goes over here. This is the method. At this time, it goes over here because this display method having two arguments. That's why it is going over here. Please use this instead of this when I'm calling with a single argument. Use this instead of this when I'm calling with the two arguments. This is called method overloading. I think you understand that one. If you have any doubts, just ask me inside a chat box. Okay. Have any doubt? Hello. You have any doubt on this topic? If there are two or more methods may have the same name. If they differ in different parameters, these methods are called overloaded methods because they are declared with the same name. That's why these methods are called as overloaded methods. And this concept and this feature will call it as method overloading. I think you got my point. And this is the example for that. So may have the same name, we'll call it as overloaded methods, and this feature will call it as method overloading. Now, if you don't respond to me, how come I came to know that whether you understand or not? Okay, I think like you understand the topic itself. Let me go for method overriding. Overloading constructors in the sense already we are having an example for that. So the same concept, because while we are declaring, so I'm going to discuss about, so this is, sorry, method overloading. And now I'm going to declare constructor overloading. Okay, so what is a constructor overloading? I also discussed this one in the previous example. Let me declare a constructor for the same class, overload. So the constructor should start with the same name of the class, overload. Okay. So this is the one constructor which doesn't have any arguments with it. And now I'm going to create another one with the same name, because the constructor should always uses its same class name. And this is having two arguments, int a comma int b. So the same thing, it looks like these are the methods, these are the constructors. The same concept will work over here. If I want to access these values, let me take a single. Okay, so that it is easy for you. Let me copy this, paste, and now I'm going to copy this one also. Let me paste over here. Okay. So now I'm going to create an object for the same class inside a main method. Overload O is equals to new overload. Sorry, O ready semicolon. So why it is showing error? No suitable constructors are available. Why it is showing the same error? Because it is having a single argument, and this is the parameter is argument. So it is having two arguments, it is having single argument, but as no argument a constructor is not available. If you're going to declare this, see this one. Now the error will be disappear. See this, it has been gone because no argument constructor has been available, so that the error has been gone. So this is called constructor overloaded. So all these constructors are overloaded. The similar concept with the methods also. The same concept will occur over here. So now itself, we're having 3 overloaded constructors. And this feature, let me call these constructors by using, and I'm going to create 3 more objects, and I'm going to change the value because O is already available. I will take it as a K, and I'm going to send the values 1 and 1 comma 2. So at this time, it goes over here. At this time, at the time of an object creation, it will goes to this constructor. So with the same name, we are having a constructor. So all these constructors are called constructor overloaded. We'll call it as a constructor overloaded. At the sense of a methods, we'll call it as a method overloading constructors. So these are the method overloaded. These are the constructor overloaded. The same concept over here. If you know the method concept, then the constructor concept you can understand very easily. So it is going over here. Yeah, this is already over here. So this constructor is overloaded by this at the time of this object creation, and this will be overloaded by this constructor at the time of this object creation. Now you got the point, right? So, okay, I think you understand this one. This is a constructor overloading and this is a method overloading. You have to understand at least once so that the constructor overloading will be easy for you the same way. So if you if any questions asked in the examination itself, write about the method overloading. You have to write only this. In the sense of constructor overloading, you have to write only this one, not this one. Avoid this. So for the main methods itself, method overloading itself, this is enough. For the constructor, this is enough. Okay. Okay, time has been completed. Okay, tomorrow we'll discuss about the remaining topics, and yeah, you may leave now.